time on the VOWS.
That's a lot to take in.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I mean,
how do you see that, Don? Like, what do you... So obviously you guys have just heard Ian Cameron giving all the points about why he's angry as a South African. And at the same time, you also hear Bheki Cele's response. What do you think of Ian Cameron's comments or his whole monologue to Bheki Cele?
there would have been a point in time in history where, regardless of whether you were young or old, that because you had color on your skin, regardless of whether you're Indian, you're colored, you're black, or whatever the case is, as long as you had color on your skin, you would have never listened to that young man. But what he spoke over there, we can all relate. Regardless of the boundary of skin color that we may have, hair type, or whatever the case may be, backgrounds, we all do have some sort of resignation or being able to relate to that, man. Because at the end of the day, we starting to see more and more that, like, you know, it's different. There's levels to this thing of being a South African, dude. It's like, do you know there's a book called Animal Farm? Do you know the book? Have you heard of that book?
Don't if you ask me if I've watched porn. No, I don't know.
Okay, no, it's not porn, Mr. Clayton.
No. Honestly,
Okay.
I know as a youngster there was
It is.
pornos called Animal Farm.
Yeah,
If that's what you're referring to, I'm gonna plead the fifth.
There's a place over there where it says all people are equal, but some people are more equal than other people. You see, that's what's starting to happen in South Africa. I mean, when I read this,
Do you think it's privilege?
Yeah, dude, it is privilege. It's about knowing who you know as well, and obviously, you have to be in cahoots to be out there, you know. And the sad thing is, you know, people who are in power these days are generally in cahoots with people who are the rotten eggs, you know. And like, it's a tough thing to swallow, you know.
Excuse me. I think this is what's happening right now. People are angry. We are becoming less and less disconnected from society, and we kind of also living in our own bubbles. I mean, just hear this out, right? This is stats according to South Africa. Right now in Gugulethu, Khayelitsha, this is Western Cape Town. They've got struggles there. I mean, like every other province. I mean, every province has got different things. I mean, like, yeah, in Durban we're ravished by drugs. We know that. We've got a thing called paras. I don't know if there's another word for that, but these are youngsters that are hooked on cheap drugs, and they cannot come off them. Wonga, Nyape, I don't know, Johannesburg.
Yeah, it's all the same thing, right? So Wonga, predominantly here in Durban, it's Wonga, yeah.
But I think for me, if I can just add to what you were saying, is that with Ian, the issue that he's bringing up is that, according to stats, there are 120 women per day in those two areas in Cape Town alone that are being raped. Listen to this. Police hunting suspects after 3 people killed in Gugulethu. Police said that the complaint of a white Toyota Corolla opened fire on a group of 5 people on Sunday. This is a Sunday that just went by. That night, on a corner in Gugulethu, the NY8. So there's this lawlessness that is thriving in Gugulethu that's under the DA government. So I know they know that this is a problem. I know that they know in the Cape Town flats, the Cape flats, there's a problem over there.
It's been there from the 90s too. Like, it's been happening.
True. So some will say, that's because of apartheid and segregation and unfair practice and stuff like that. But let's just stop there for a second and say, hey, look, how can we, as a younger generation, bring people into light and say, we can't go back there to resolve things that happened there, but what we can do is say to everybody, look, I was making a joke earlier on about the Michael Jackson song, There's a Place, and if you listen to the lyrics of that song, that I know we can go where there's a brighter tomorrow. Now, it boils down, there's a logic that tells me, like, if I want change doesn't come from the circumstances that I've been through. It comes from today. What am I going to do different? What am I going to do going forward? Because look, the milk is spilled. There's literally nothing I can do about what happened in the past. But what I do today will determine tomorrow. I don't know if that makes sense. For me, if I come back now, we've discussed Ian and I commend him for saying the stuff that affects him and in the community, because if any neighborhood watch knows, it's tough out there.
It's very tough, Joe.
I mean, if you think about it logically, the neighborhood watch is there to assist the police. But initially, it's not a job for a community to keep itself safe, but the police.
That's true.
So this was created to help the police, but it seems like it's given the police more reason to not be so active.
That's true.
In my opinion.
I'm not even gonna say whereabouts in Durban that I am from, but like being a part of that community watch for that brief moment, dude, what I learned was like, I would see a cop. Cops are supposed to patrol the whole night, maybe once every 30 minutes to an hour. I would sit there from 8 o'clock at night
just
to
watching
12.
The police? Waiting to see.
No. Obviously watching crime, dude. Like,
is it like a TV version of Law and Order for you? It's like doom. I can't wait to get sound effects blue. It's like serious stuff.
Yeah, true. That's true. But we would only see a cop maybe once throughout the whole night. And the thing is, you get to the police station, say if anything had to happen, and you find these guys are just sitting there in the police station, they're just chilling, having a good time. And even if you listen to their radios while you're inside the police station, because you know how long it takes to be served in a police station these days, you have enough time to even have your mind wander to all of that there. You never hear any crime being reported for like 30, 40 minutes, and then you wonder, where is the patrol at night, dude? Where?
So, if I can say like this, each commissioner has a different plan, a different vision of how they want to combat crime. But I also want to say, I think it depends on the individual and how they see life. You get people that are too strict and there's too much of patrolling and too much of watching over people, like just trying to brainwash them or control them. Where I grew up, every Friday at a specific time, or in between those times, there used to be police vans that would patrol, because back in the day we had guys on the corner. I grew up in the flats, not Cape flats, but there would be guys gambling, and weed was a problem then, back in the day. And when the police would rock up on certain roads where we lived, under a street light, the guys would gamble. You had cardboard cards and would gamble for money. And the moment they saw that, the police come, they'd scatter. Do you know what I mean? And today, the police that we have now versus the police we had then are very different. Do you know what I mean? I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, my laptop was stolen. I found the guy that stole my laptop, took him to the police station, and the police told me, listen, we know where your laptop is. I can get it for you, but you need to pay us 300 rand.
Wow.
So instantly my heart was broken because you are the law. You took an oath to stand up for what is right. So here's my problem, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not only me. There's thousands of people in South Africa. You watch the video with me that are getting charged extra amount. So like, I don't know what police make, right? I really don't know what a normal standard police sergeant makes. But if you count all the bribery money that they collect to go above and beyond the work, maybe perhaps you need the 300 and I don't know where you suck that price from. But if everybody, he knew where some of the stuff was and charged them a fee, that's money that he's pocketing that's got nothing to do with his job. You know, about a year ago, I found a cell phone, a really nice big cell phone, and I thought this phone was, you know, the stuff. And when I found it, I picked it up and I put it in my car, and it rang, and I answered the phone, and it was a white lady, and she lost it on the way to where she was going. So my son was with me in the car, and when I answered, I said, "Yay, hi, how are you? I found your phone. Can you tell me where I can drop it off? Or do you want to come pick it up from my house?" So she said, "Okay, cool, I'll call you back." I said, "Okay, cool, let's stay on." And my son asked me, "Dad, why are you giving the phone back? You found it." I said, "Son, think of it like this. It's not mine. And right now, that person is heartbroken that they lost it." Do you know what I'm saying? And think, if you lost your phone, how would you feel if someone's just going to take your stuff? And so he went with his mom. They gave the lady the phone at the mall, and the lady gave my son a 20 rand reward. Now, my son didn't find the phone, I found it. But I needed to teach him a lesson in understanding that if it's not yours, you shouldn't take it.
That's very
And
true.
if you're in a position to do what's right for your moral compass, it's so important, because it's not about the 300 rand, Don, that made me upset. It's the fact that the police himself thought that is the way. Do you understand? So I'm looking at it from his view, that what he told me, there was nothing wrong with it. I just need to charge you a fee to get yours back. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you are so detached from reality that I have to pay you to do what's right. And I think that's what's happening in our country, is that there's so many people that feel that they have to do what they feel is right in order to get stuff done. We watched a video about certain people at the NPA charging money to get driver's license and passing tests and stuff like this. This is not something new. It's been happening for years. I think it's been happening from the beginning of time, to be honest with you. You know, when the first son came up, it's like the first guy like, "Oh, I need extra money for the NPA to actually get some money." But the reality is that why can't we pass on our merit for driving? You know, fail us if we fail, but pass us if we pass. Don't add an extra fee. You just think for every person that passes, legitimate, have to pay about 1,000 rand.
No, dude. No, it's a lot more than that.
Okay, so a friend of mine paid 1,000 rand like 2-3 years ago to get his license, and they told him to take the envelope. No, Don, I think that's a podcast for another day.
Definitely.
No, you know why? I was just about to let the cat out the bag, and then tomorrow I'm
Dude,
exposed.
I went through, okay, I'll say, a friend of a friend.
So let's do this. Let me pass on the question to you. If you guys would like us to make a podcast about the pricing, corruption and stuff like that, I know how you guys might feel about it, but what's so nice about the YouTube channel, you guys can comment below, and we'll read every single message so that we can also connect with you. Because I think what's so important, and this is what's heartbreaking for Ian Cameron, because I feel him when he mentioned that, how do you tell a family that your daughter's been shot and you cannot find the culprit? And then you find an independent NGO willing to go the extra mile to find the people that did wrong to someone else. And I think that's where the frustration comes in, is that we're saying public people are taking, not the law, but taking the initiative to do what's right for the community, whereas that's a job for someone like Bheki Cele and his team. Because look at this. A family heartbroken after daughter one of the 3 shot dead in Gugulethu. This was something posted today. Today's the 7th, Don.
So there's something happening in Gugulethu every day like this, dude. And what did he do after he was gone? Nothing. All he did was, shut up! Shut up!
That's kind of making me relive something. So what I think is also making the community of the Western Cape for those particular areas, look, we're not going to sugarcoat it and say this is not important, because it is. But I think where the problem comes in is that we have people in the space saying that, enough is enough. We're losing too many people. And at the same time, you've had this meeting before, Mr. Minister, and nothing's changed. And now you're coming again, same meeting, different time, nothing's changed. He was at this meeting with his entourage, let's call it an entourage, right?
Yeah,
respectfully, it's an entourage, right? And it's paid by government money.
Exactly.
And while he was at this meeting and the entourage was with him, 2 women were hijacked in the same area. Now, I don't know if the crooks knew that this man's in the area and wanted to prove a point. I don't know. I would look at it from a comedic space. But Don, to have 120 women a day in a space where you want to feel safe and you want to feel protected. I mean, look, let's say like this, right? You're in a committed relationship, I'm in a committed relationship, right? If that was happening to our daughters or our mums and girlfriends, if you have you got a side chick down?
No.
so I wouldn't feel safe for them. But if also something happened, I would be so terrified to know that this is the world we live in.
Dude, I would turn into the Punisher if something happened like that.
Maybe the Hulk.
The Punisher, dude.
Would you take the law? So this is what we're fighting against. I mean, Bheki Cele took his meltdown into his own hands. I didn't see him so angry before, but I couldn't put my finger on what made him so angry.
You know what I think
Do you think it was the truth? Do you think that he got angry because it was the truth?
Just gonna say that, dude. Like, outside of that, like, something I've noticed with a lot of the people who have been through the struggle and are recognized as, what do they call them? They call them...
freedom fighters.
Yes, freedom fighters. Look at me, young and forgetting what they're called. The thing is, they get so emasculated by the fact that they've been there, they fought. We understand that you guys fought. It's good that you guys fought. If you didn't fight, who was going to fight?
So,
okay.
And I like that you said that, because on the light side, look, let's give credit due when credit is due.
Exactly.
Nelson Mandela, Bheki Cele, I'm going to put him in the same boat. Cyril Ramaphosa.
No, not Cyril.
No, Cyril was there. If you look at the pictures very carefully, Cyril was there on stage with Nelson. He was on stage with Bheki, and there was a young version of Zuma. He had hair still there, right? And he had a moustache, and he was there. So let's put them in the same category. These were the forefathers of the first Black South Africa that were already hooked up in the top. So put them on the top shelf, right? These were the guys that they did fight. Please don't get me wrong. And I don't know what type of South Africa we would have without them. But I'm also having a question as a young South African. What South Africa would we have if they were not there?
Please let's not forget Steve Biko.
For sure.
Oliver Tambo.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, these people don't get spoken enough about sometimes. But then again,
is Oliver Tambo, was he one of them as well?
Yeah, of course. Dude.
Okay.
And then, like, you also have there were lots of people that were supposed to be counted. Well, at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about the fact that we have people who are emasculated by the fact that they've been there, they've fought for the country. We understand, we appreciate. If you guys didn't fight, where would we be as a country? We would not be in a good place. But now, that time is over. You guys are actually starting to form a part of our struggle, bruh. I mean, like, at the end of the day, there's lots of things that we would like to move forward with as a country, but development is becoming something that's scarce, dude. Like, development is becoming so scarce. It's like a liter of petrol in 100 rand. Soon there'll be no liter of petrol in 100 rand.
Like, I don't know if petrol goes to be 100 a liter, dog. You know, I think on a closing note,
yeah,
I think what's important is, this question is for all the listeners
mm-hmm.
and the viewers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that at the end of the day, this is something that affects all of us.
That's true.
I mean, look, Bheki's human at the end of the day.
Of course.
And, you know, having a meltdown, I can understand. But I think what he really misunderstood, and I'm sad that he didn't see this, is that young Cameron didn't attack him.
Of course.
He kind of told him that this is what the people are facing. But it also showed that his reaction to what Cameron was saying confirmed that Cameron was right, that he is disconnected from reality. Look, Don, if I've offended you, and the first thing that comes out my mind is justifying what I thought you were saying, I'm already wrong.
Exactly.
There should be an apology to say, I hear you, and I'm sorry that we failed you as a community.
Exactly.
But he takes it out of context, saying, hey, who are you? And then I struggle to understand, where did the garden services come into place here? Because
garden boy.
I didn't hear anything about him being compared to a garden service employee. And I don't know if Bheki Cele ever owned a garden service, to be honest with you, because it doesn't highlight on Wikipedia his bio about having green fingers or not. And that's just me being sarcastic. But I think, you know, as a minister with such integrity, because I'll tell you what, sometimes we see the bad side of people and we don't know what good they've really done for South Africa. So I want to give Bheki Cele the benefit of the doubt that I think he's a good person. I think he means well.
I think so too.
And I think that if there's a chance that he can start doing a little bit more good and actually help people that are in really need of what they want. And the thing is, all we're asking for is a safer South Africa. And in my mind, that shouldn't be too hard to obtain.
No, it shouldn't.
In my mind.
Oh.
And it's sad that one man has the courage to tell him what they're struggling with, and for him to kind of miss the plot or miss the point that's been made. I mean, imagine, for example, a kid telling the father, I am tired of you being drunk, and when you're drunk, you physically and verbally abuse us. And the dad says, no, never, not me. What does that tell you, Don?
Denial.
I don't know. There were some comments on other views that we saw that were saying accountability. But let's be honest. We will have provinces that have more problems. And if I was a minister, which I hope nobody ever asked me to be a minister, is that more emphasis needs to be placed on certain places like that to bring down the crime.
Of course.
If that makes sense.
Of course.
And put more things to make it more recreational and offer maybe more jobs or more workshops in developing people, getting people out of that mindset, you know, broken window syndrome. Carl Blanche did a whole thing on a thing called broken window syndrome. When there are things are broken in a society or a community, it never changes because the window is broken. When you change the window and you repair it, the community starts changing. If you never pick up the dirt on a corner and it stays there, you'll always think it's a dump. But the moment it's moved and you start putting beautiful things in, mindset changes. Oh, they've done it. They fixed the broken window. I was like, wow, I've never looked through it like this before. Do you know what I mean?
Very true. Very, very true.
I don't know. Somebody said you can put a suit on a pig, but a pig is still a pig. I don't know. I think in closing, I just want to say thank you so much. No. That wasn't.
That was just a joke. That was a joke.
I want to remove myself from Don. You'll be all alone. I have no dealings with this man. I want to say to both parties, Ian, Cameron, and Bheki Cele, look, I know tensions were hot. I get it. But, you know, in reality, if this is a young man and he feels that there can be change, especially with someone that's got so much experience, that's got so much knowledge about what we can do to go forward. I don't know if they read the memo on what Nelson Mandela was trying to strive for in regards to a rainbow nation and all of us getting along. But if there's a thing that we can change, I mean, we should strive for it. It's not about Bheki Cele, it's not about Ian Cameron, it's about a society feeling safe when they sleep at night. I mean, if we had to say South Africa, there was no need for a community patrol.
Yeah.
No, to watch.
Yeah, CPF.
But because it's getting out of hand, and they don't know how to deal with it, how do you expect the community to deal with it? Do you know what I'm saying? I can't live in an unsafe community.
Of course.
And no one can. So that's my 2 cents, and that's my time. I want to say thank you so much. Welcome to the first podcast, the VAR, the whole VAR, and nothing but the VAR. Myself, Cedric Harvey. I'm going to let Don take us out. Of course, let Don let us take us out. And we will see you on the next podcast.
Yeah, wait. That is the last time you're ever going to see Cedric Harvey for the next podcast. For the next podcast, we're only going to have Mr. Clayton.
No, it's fine. My real name is Cedric. I also have a YouTube channel. I'm going to put it down there. But for the podcast, it wanted to just be Michael. But I'm out. This is the first and the last podcast I'll be on.
I'm going to get you so much of trouble, boy.
So on the next podcast, you'll see our other anchor. She will be on, and Don will introduce her there. But I'll be in the background. I'll be the cameraman.
And guys, there's so much to come in the podcast. We have so many other guest appearances that will be coming soon. We have people that you guys should be looking forward for. Like we have Technician X coming through sometime soon. But like he said, it's about time we wrap it up. This is Big Don. We are signing out of the Waarheid, nothing but the Waarheid, and the whole Waarheid.
Please, while you guys are still here and you've said goodbye, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also in the link below, if you feel this was a nice podcast, please share it with your family and friends. That's the only way we will get your support, get our name out there, and also get you guys to hear the truth, the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. That was the first mic drop on the first podcast. You go boy. For the people that didn't see the video and you're hearing a mic drop, in reality, just picture a big Hulk dropping the mic into the ocean, because that's what Don just did. We'll link everything like we said in the links below. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us. Youngsters from Durban doing their thing. I'm going to put Donovan's address in case anybody wants to find him in the link below. But again, over and out. I will see you guys next week. So let's hope that we can get some views.